right, everybody, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whole Lotta Bogeys interview series. And we have Clinch Golf with us today. These are going to be revolutionary in the golf glove space, and it's no joke. This is not leather. This is not going to crinkle up in your bag. It's not going to crack on you. It's not going to shrink. It's not going to get holes after 4 rounds, and you're going to have to go buy another one. It's not that. We have Jason Delsoldato today, owner and founder, and he's going to break this down for you and kind of shed some light on it, and we're going to talk all about it. So Jason, I don't know if you want to introduce yourself to the viewers and just kick this thing right off.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the intro and not butchering the name. That's not a normality. It usually does.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Jason Delsoldato, co-founder of Clinch Golf. My partner Matt Mahoney wasn't able to join us today, but we are so glad to be with you guys to talk about Clinch Golf today, and looking forward to discussing the product.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I think one of the coolest things that, like, just jumping right into it, you saw something in the golf industry that needed change and needed to be fixed. Right. And it's cool to see somebody pioneering a space like that where golf gloves are traditionally leather. Like, everybody is playing a leather glove, and seeing this kind of transition and like getting this in hand and feeling it, like anyone who puts this glove on is not going to switch back to the leather glove, because everyone has had that same issue where you play around, it's a little warm, your hand gets sweaty, you don't have a glove case, you threw it in your bag. This came directly out of my bag.
Like this. You know what I mean?
See this movement? And I mean, we have a couple other gloves from the past year just to show the viewers too, and kind of see this sweat stain marks. You're not getting that on these.
Nope.
You see this crackly nastiness? Show them that glove.
I was gonna say this one is like
you can't even get the fingers.
You can't even get the fingers to come down. This stays loose all the way. It's gonna be form fitting. So
I'll just go back to the first part. Yeah. So I think one of the good things is that I've been in product creation my whole career. I came out of college. I worked at Abercrombie and Fitch, 24 years old, managing $30 million businesses, making product, getting my master's and my in product creation. You know, working with factories, working with designers, working and bringing product to life, and that continued all throughout. I worked for Burton Snowboards for 8 years. And
sweet.
After that, I got a call to come up here to Portland to work for Nike. And as you guys know, I was not as you guys know, but I was at Nike for 13 years. But as you guys know about Nike, they're all about solving problems for athletes. And I think that was what I met Matt. We met in 2020, and I had left Nike because I had gotten away from making product on a day-to-day basis. I was sitting in boardrooms with 25 other people talking about stuff 3 years out and making decks, and it wasn't what my strengths were in my career. My strengths have always been finding ideas and bringing those ideas to life through product. And so I wanted to get back to that. And my wife still works at Nike, so I was kind of with COVID and everything, I was kind of home with a little dude. We had another one on the way, and I was just trying to find my next landing spot.
Yeah.
I met him, and he had this idea. He's like, hey, he always had problems with leather, what you guys are showing right there. And he said, hey, what are your thoughts on trying to bring something to life through product? And we just started, hey, would you begin on going in on starting a golf brand in the middle of 2020 and not having a job? It was one of those things where you're like, oh, I don't know, the golf industry is a tough, it's a very, crowded place right now. A lot of small companies.
For sure.
And what we really thought, to your point, we thought we had something.
Right.
And we thought there was a good idea there, that there were other people who were tired of paying $20, $25 for a glove and being able to get a couple of rounds out of it for whatever reason, whether it be fit, whether it be sweat, whether it be whatever, and then living here and playing golf in the Pacific Northwest, where it is almost always wet. Whether it's in the summer, you're sweating. Whether it's in the winter months or whatever, where it can rain on you in the middle of your round, but it's not going to keep you from playing golf. You want to get out there and you want to play. Mm-hmm. And also things like cracking a beverage open. That you're always have that glove, and you don't want it to get wet. Otherwise, you're like, whatever, and you're like drying it off, and you got to wait. Hey, you go ahead. I got to dry my glove off. And we started to think about, okay, what are ways that we could get after those problems? And we started to think about every other part of the golf industry has been innovated on or has been taken to a new place. Balls, clubs, balls, bags, apparel with dry fit. Everyone's wearing sneakers on the course, Jordans, whatever it might be.
Right.
And there have been companies who have tried to bring golf clubs to a new place, but in our opinion, through too much tech or synthetic leather, which is even worse when it gets wet,
100%.
and things that just felt quirky, or not quirky, but like just forced. There was too much. It wasn't normal. So that's why our glove, when you look at it, it looks normal, and you have to try to explain to people what it is. And we felt like, okay, here are the problems we're trying to solve. Easy on, easy off, it grips when wet, grips in all conditions, fits the right way every single time you go to put it on. And how do we solve that? And, so then we started working with our factory. I had a lot of connections after leaving Nike with designers and with factories, and our stuff's made in some of the best factories that still make some of the leading sporting goods companies' products. So we're in a really great place, legit factory, and we started sampling. We started working with the material, the base synthetic suede that our gloves are now made out of, and we started working with that material to try to get to a good weight, but also not so you had the durability, but also to a good weight where you feel the club. Like when you have a pair of rain gloves on in the winter, those are great, the two hands but they're great for wet, but they're too thick, they're very bulky, and you really can't feel the club as well as you can with a nice premium leather glove. And that's, hey, I love when you first put on the first time a premium leather glove is amazing, but you're paying $25 for that first time you put that glove on, that feeling. We wanted to create something that would feel that way every time you go to put it on. And I think when you're talking about sweat specifically, and you're talking about a leather glove, I think one of the things we're talking about a lot now is the average golfer takes their glove on and off 18 times around now.
Right.
So, I mean, some of the older golfers still leave it on when they putt or whatever. I'm not generalizing, but that's just, we're doing a lot of research on that. So you think about pulling a glove off from the tips of the fingers that's leather. Leather doesn't rebound. That material stretches out and it stays. So you always have that little extra bit at the end of your fingers after you played a couple of holes, and you're having to do this and try to get it back.
I'll tell you how many times I've done that maneuver there, dude. Yeah.
So when you put our glove on and you have four-way stretch on the back of the hands, the material has a stretch to it, a mechanical stretch. There's a stretch portion in the back of the hand that is more porous. So that's where the breathability happens. So when you're moving your hand and you're swinging your club, you're getting air in there. And, those are the things with the material, the main material that we really wanted to get. So now when you take this off, you put it back in your back pocket, you go putt, hopefully it's for, not for bogey, maybe it's for something better. And, this is in your back pocket, and you get to the next tee box and you go to put it on. You're not having to do that. You're going to feel like it's the first time that you put it on. And because the material is going to rebound and the material is going to get back to its original shape. And that was where, so we went through tons of versions. We went through a lot of different of materials. We got weights. We did a whole bunch of wear testing with my friends here at all handicap levels up here, even including I think the best amateur in Portland. He actually wears two rain gloves all the time because he sweats so much and he can't hold on to the club. So he wears two gloves all the time regardless. So even he tried them out, loved them. We still give him pairs every once in a while so that he's sorted out. But it was everybody. And we started to say, hey, there were some people, and again, no product is going to be perfect for every golfer, and that's the case with everything. We had some people that were just, hey, die hard, I'm never going to change my leather glove. But there was a lot of people, the majority of the people that tried out our product who have been back, have asked me for samples, have purchased from us, that recognized that there were benefits to modernizing the glove, taking it to a new place, and trying to solve some of those problems, bringing it back to trying to solve some of those problems that you, myself, and other golfers have had, and just some frustrations with just traditional leather materials.
For sure. And like you were saying, it's a good feeling when you walk off the last hole and you go to the next tee box and you know that the glove is going to fit exactly the same, and you're not going to be finagling with it, trying to make it fit right. It's form fitting, it rebounds, and it breathes, and it grips when it's wet. What more can you ask for, people?
Right.
It's perfect.
The one thing about the breathability is I'm looking at these other gloves that we have. they have holes on the fingers. Like that's the breathability.
And
that
they
you
don't
get.
work.
This, like you said, it's porous all the way through the back. Like when you're playing rounds, obviously we have the glove, we played rounds with it. You can literally feel the airflow. You can feel kind of like the cool, like it keeps your hand cool. You know what I mean? So it great in all aspects.
Yeah, one thing I noticed with it too, I don't know if like anyone's ever mentioned this, but like when you have like that traditional stuffy leather glove and you wore it for like a hole on a hot day and your hand is sweating, there's like a noticeable like aha moment when you take it off. Like you feel that cold air, and that doesn't happen with the Clinch because you're just comfortable all the time. There isn't like that stuffy, sweaty, you're feeling it slip.
Yeah.
And then seeing you guys add that TPU layer right here. And for anyone wondering, if you have the glove in hand, it's going to be these black rings right here that are going to give a grip ability. And they also double down to kind of fix like, how many times did you get a glove and right there on that bottom side of your palm, you had a hole?
Yep.
It's not going
All
to
the
happen
time.
here. And for TPU, people who don't know, it's like a thermoplastic polyurethane. So this thing is definitely engineered, and there was a lot of thought that went into
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say on top of the material, we added a bunch of things that we wanted to call I call them innovations, because they're not huge innovations. They're things that have been used before. We just wanted to use them differently on our product. So I always had issues with I played with the Titleist player's glove or whatever. And one of the biggest issues I always had was I'd ripped a couple because I grabbed the wrong piece of Velcro when I always grabbed the under part by accident, and I ripped a couple at the bottom where the stitching was. So we added a rubber tab so that it was easy to grab, and you weren't going to rip that. So that was a very simple thing, but nobody was doing it. I looked around at everybody, and no one had that. And I was like, you think about batting gloves, you think about receiver gloves, like in the NFL or the MLB, like they have that rubber because they want easy. Those guys are always messing with it. So we were like, we're going to adopt some of these other things. And then the internal screen print, we think it adds like 2 or 3 things. Number one, yes, it's going to reinforce that area. That was the number one thing for ripping. That's the main part where my partner and I was always ripping. You can see there's on our Instagram, I think maybe 2 or 3 months back, there's a side-by-side comparison of a leather glove for 10 rounds, and then next to it is ours at 20, and you can see like there was a hole in that palm in that area, and that was what we were trying to solve for with that. The some of the happy accidents were, number one, durability. Number two, that part, because your hand is going to be a little bit sweaty, is going to stick to that part of your hand, and it's going to help a little bit with the grip ability where your hand meets the club, right? And it's not going to, and then the glove's not going to move around, so it's going to stay very stable.
Right.
On top of that, because of the ridges and not being a very like one big screen print, like solid, which would have obviously been more grippy and more. This allows the air to get in between those layers and those lines, so that you're not getting what I always used to get were those calluses, that callus on your palm. Yep. I play a lot now with this glove. It's the only glove I use now, so I don't get those calluses there anymore where I would get from where because it distributes that pressure in like several different ways. So we've just found these amazing like as you obviously you put things in the product because you want to get them in the product, you think it's going to improve, and then you find out other amazing things that it actually helped out with. So that was a happy accident. The other happy accident on the material was, and you held up yours earlier, you can throw them in a very gentle cycle and all that. And I learned it because I played around with a dirty initial sample that we had when I was going to play abandon with my father-in-law. And it was pouring sideways rain. And soaked head to toe, glove, everything. And I took it off and I put it on the to dry off for the next day. And I pulled it off. It looked like it was brand spanking new. The back area we had on our samples was white because it was our first sample, and that's the only we could get was white back here. Mm-hmm. And it was like yellow from sweat, and then afterwards it was completely white. And we were like, wait a minute. I was like, hey Matt, can you find some of your used gloves at the house, throw them in a quick gentle cycle, and let me know what happens. Maybe we can say that we use this as a marketing opportunity to tell people that they can extend the life of their glove if they put it in a gentle cycle. And sure enough, it works really well. It just refreshes the product. It gets it back. You air dry it, not a big deal. And then the other happy accident was that it works with phones. I mean, another modern part of the game is that you're either on your watch or tracking scores or your phone. and leather definitely doesn't work with screens, and our synthetic suede does. So again, really taking just a very overlooked, in my opinion, piece of equipment for golf and trying to put as many of these aha, like why haven't anybody else done that moments into the product.
Yeah,
that's super cool. That was one of the questions I had for you too, was with having it be like smartphone compatible and you're able to like leave it on. We didn't realize when we got them, to be truthful, that you could do it. And then he pulled his phone out and we use 18 birdies as a rangefinder for most of the time. He goes, whoa, wait a second. He's like, it's working. And it was just another one of those like aha moments. Like this is the product. This is the one.
Well, especially for people like us too. We're creating content on the course, you know what I mean? So we're always pulling our phones out, taking a quick video, this or that. So it's just awesome, especially for us.
That was one of the things that, you know, I got from Burton, because snowboarding started to do that a long time ago, because again, you're in the winter, you want to use your phone, you don't want to, you know, you're doing those kinds of things. And they started to put those little like synthetic suede
black pad on the tip.
Yeah, or silver ones or whatever. And so it was like, wait a minute, like why can't we, you know, with the material that we're going to choose, why can't that be one of the byproducts of that material? So we did that as well. So it was, again, it was a very, you know, it's been a labor of love, but with the response, you know, that we've been getting, and the interest and the slow momentum that we've been getting, obviously getting the name out there, it's very hard, you know, again, two person, you know, company. You know, it's great to talk to you guys like you and at least tell our story. You know, because you know, we're just a DTC brand. We're in a couple of shops in Portland. We're going to radiate out from there, hopefully. But yeah, we're just hopefully getting going.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like this is one of those products where like you get them into those local courses, and then you grab your glove, you're good to go. And next thing you know, you're just not buying one as often. And then you're going to keep going back to that course to play around and grab your glove when it does come time after 30 plus rounds.
Right, exactly.
So it's awesome.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to touch on quick, you were talking about like this extra TPU layer helping with the blood blisters and things like that. So I grew up playing baseball. That's what the baseball industry needs, because I struggled my whole life getting that blood blister right here on the palm of my hand, because the knob of the baseball bat always rubs right there. So that's something that the baseball industry definitely needs too, because
and there's places, there's other places, yeah, for sure. I hear you on that one. There's other places in the glove we wish we could do that as well, but it's really hard in the construction of it. Like the tip of the thumb is also another place that gets some calluses for me, and then across the top of the palm. But those are really hard places to work with those. But the one we felt like we could work them the best with was that palm area. And again, that spoke to multiple things: the durability and the comfort and grip. So it's good to hear that you guys like that.
For sure. And then one other thing about the pull tab too that you were talking about, that's like the first thing I noticed about the glove. As soon as we took it out of the bag, I was like, oh my God, this is genius. I never thought about that, but this is like just the easeability of taking it on and off. Like you said, or like sometimes you grab that underside of the Velcro and potentially rip the glove or something like that. So I just wanted to highlight, that was the first thing I noticed as soon as I picked up the glove. I was like, oh, this pull tab is genius. Yeah,
for sure. And the mental reset aspect, like a lot of golfers like kind of like will take a step off and undo their glove and re-put it back on. So like you're saying, if 18 is the average, I'd guess I'm doing it 36 or more. And this glove is perfectly good. And I've probably, like we said, played 54 holes plus with it.
Yeah, we've got we've got guys. I mean, I've got people tagging us on Instagram saying they're on 20, 30 rounds right now. And again, like, hey, it doesn't speak to repeat business as well. But I think what we want to do is we want to say, hey, like, we're not going to go anywhere. We're going to be around for a little while. We've got great product. You can come back to us whenever you want. People are always going to get through their product quicker. Obviously, there's guys that golf way more than you or I, and we'll go through them quicker. But yeah, we wanted to make sure that we're putting a quality product out there that wasn't gonna be a disposable thing. We're not putting out the 3 for whatever from Costco. That's not our deal. That's not our money grab. Our thing was, hey, we want to solve some problems and we want our product to last and be great. And I think that's just where my history of coming from those 3 brands, where if you look at those 3 brands that I worked for, like, you will always know, like, quality and just and like the warranty and everything at all those companies was something that we were really proud of. We made quality product, and that was what we wanted to do here, even if we're a small company.
Yeah, and like you were talking about those like Costco 3 for X amount of dollars price, you're almost insinuating there that it's like that glove's gonna rip. Like, we're gonna give you 3 because the one's not good enough. Like it's just that's not the move. And
we were at the Portland Golf Show recently. We just did this. We had a very small show. We didn't have a chance to get in on the Seattle one, which is a little bigger, and then we obviously didn't do the Florida one. That's not something where we were ready for. But we got into the Portland one. 5,000 people over the weekend came through. It's a pretty good pretty good flow.
Yeah.
And I mean, you wouldn't believe all the people going, oh, well, I just got my three at Costco, whatever, for $20, and I was like, okay, cool, like great, like that's fine. And I said, but just try the glove on. Just try the glove on, like. That's all I want you to do while you're here. If there's anything you do while you're here, I'm not saying you buy it, just try it on, take our card, come back to us at a later date if you need to. But I can't tell you, 8 out of the 10 people who may have come by and said, oh, I just bought like 3 gloves at Costco or whatever, I'm good to go, left with a glove after trying it on.
Wow. Right.
And one guy even like he bought a glove. We didn't convince him. I just told him all the things I'm telling you guys. Told him about the glove. Try it on. You make the decision. Bought a glove. Walked away. Went over and was like, they had the bays where you could test out clubs and all the new stuff. And he comes walking by, and I was like, hey man. And he goes, hey, what's up? And like I pointed at his hand, and he had the glove on his hand. And I was like, I go, what? I go, oh, you really love that glove? And he goes, oh, completely forgot that I had it on. I was just hitting balls. And he was
awesome.
walking around the show, and he was like, it was like, I forgot. And then other people have told us it's been so comfortable that they forget to take it off when they go to putt because they didn't think about it because it did feel so comfortable. So these are the kind of things that we're going to try to hang our hat on and continue to improve on. And as we move forward and keep pushing the brand name for sure.
Yeah. It's funny that you said the guy didn't even notice. I think one of us said it during the rounds we were playing. We're like, I didn't even notice I have it on. You know what I mean? Like other gloves, you're fumbling with it. When you grip the club, you can feel it like fold or like it's just not form fitting. You know what I mean? But when it's such a tight and nice fit, like you don't even notice it's really on. Yeah.
It's like most gloves, I feel like post shot, I'm like almost, I don't want to say itching to get it off, but like I take it off almost right away and put it right in my back pocket and go up to the next shot because it's like part of the routine, like address the shot, see what we're doing, put the glove on, go from there. And it's like even just it's midway through the round, that glove's not performing. And it's like this glove is performing through and through. And I mean, that like Jared's saying with the guy for getting the gloves on, like that speaks volumes to the comfortability of it. And you got to witness it firsthand, which is
exactly.
Yeah. We hear a lot about guys who have like 3. I just heard yesterday, somebody texted Matt, my partner. He had 3 gloves that they like have like taped to their bag, and then like it's like 6 holes, 6 holes, 6 holes, and then they go through 3 gloves in one round.
Wow.
And we're just saying that there's a better way. You can get the grip that you want. You're not sacrificing grip. You're not sacrificing any of those things when it comes to this glove. You're just going to sacrifice having to do those crazy things, like have 3 $25 gloves that you're using and you're going through in a couple of rounds. And I think that's where we feel like that the tactile glove, just superior in that aspect. So
yeah. And I feel like I don't know, I'm just thinking now, like you said, like when you're taking it off, like you pull that finger, now it's not the same glove. You know what I mean? That's something that, like, to be honest, I never really thought too much about, and like I feel like a lot of other golfers wouldn't think about it. It's like, okay, you stretch that out, now it fits different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Immediately, even after a couple shots, now it fits different. But that's not what you're getting in clinch. Yeah.
And fundamentally, the first thing you do in your golf swing is grab the club. So your grip is so crucial, and having a good golf glove is the basis, along with a good grip, for a good golf shot.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah. And that's one of the things I feel like, we talk a lot about is like, how am I gripping the club, this and that, and the glove is the first factor in everything. Yeah.
I mean, did you guys watch Full Swing?
Yeah.
All the way through.
So great. Great. Actually, I got stuck in the LA airport trying to get down to Austin for this event that I was doing, and I got stuck in LA for 24 hours in the airport, and I watched the whole thing.
Nice. Good timing then.
Unfortunately, on my phone, but I what stuck out to me was the one where like Colin was having issues with like his gloves fitting correctly.
Yeah.
And I could just imagine like being part of those bigger companies. Like one of the things that we do benefit from is we don't currently have mid sizes or cadets or whatever, because of the fact that our gloves do stretch. You can get one that fits you better, as opposed to trying to find like an ML and have another size in our breadth. So we only have the whole sizes, but with the stretch, with the rebound, again, like you said, when you pull it, it's a different glove now. We basically, you can pull it, it goes back to its normal shape, the normal fit that you had the first time. You're not having to worry about that in between, because it's going to stretch and it's gonna fit you that way every time you go to put it on.
Yeah, that's awesome. So onto like you guys aren't just making gloves. You guys have some other stuff on the website as well with ball markers, tees. You guys have some apparel, and there was one product that stood out amongst the rest. And I was just wondering if there was a story behind it. And it was the Mir Tomo Clinch collab. What's the story there? Is that like a product that like you really like and you just like had to have a Clinch version of it, or?
Yeah, yes and no. So I when you've been in the industry as long as I have at those companies for 25 plus years, you make a lot of friends. The industry is very, very small. And during my time in SB that I worked at Nike, I was over SB apparel for 4 years. I worked with a guy who was an SB, and he left Nike, and he's the CMO, or the senior director, or vice president of marketing for Mir. And he's a golfer, and I also threw a bunch of ideas when we first had our samples. He tried out our samples and wear tested for us. And then so when I was getting ready to launch, we wanted to have something on the website. We wanted there to be something, because again, people are bringing their own beverages on the course all the time, even though there's so many fun memes and videos about that right now. But the St. Andre guys are pretty funny right now with a couple of their videos. But
super funny.
So we were just like, we were kind of like, hey, if you're going to do it, like, let's do something like a really good product. If you're going to bring and then you can share, it has the Tomo means, friend, or I forget what Tomo means. Anyway, it has the 2 cups that come off of it, so you can share whatever's in there with your buddy. So whether whatever, coffee in the morning or whatever else you're gonna try to bring on the course.
Couple bevies on the course, you never know.
Yeah. So it wasn't specifically that. They had just launched that piece, and it was like, hey, like, we want to have something that's nice and premium on there. We have a new one. We have a new colorway dropping of the glove, along with a new restock of our glove the beginning of April. And then we have a couple of other pieces that are going to be dropping with that, including another mirror piece that will be a good accessory for you to have on the course. So we do, awesome. And again, like all those products, that's great. It's great to have that stuff. It does allow us to that's my creative juices going, and I love making that stuff. That's what I've done my whole career. So that was easy, low-hanging fruit. The glove is really what the center of the company is, and we're going to build some things around that over the years. But that's where we're really going to start. And then as we start to grow a little bit bigger, hopefully what we'll do is we will be able to introduce some other styles, whether, this is a very like traditional looking glove. Yeah. With the rounded Velcro tab and everything. And we have a bunch that we have designed on paper and samples of that are a little bit more modern looking even than this, with some angles and some prints, because you can sublimate on this area right here, this 4-way stretch. So we've got some with some prints, and that's even a great place for us to do some licensing maybe in the future with logos, or
100%.
We've been in contact with a couple of other Portland brands. I'm sure you know what some of those are, that have some really great prints in their line on their head covers, and hopefully we can get some collaborations going, hometown collaborations, where we bring in prints here as well, which would allow us to do some fun things. So we've got a runway of some great product. That's the easy part right now, is just is finding people to take a chance on us. And like I said, I do all the fulfillment here out of the garage. I write a handwritten note to everybody who buys something to say thank you. And yeah, we
got ours posted up right up there.
We got ours hanging up. Yeah. Yep.
No, it's great. And again, like, I like that. I've always liked smaller companies that are able to do that. And even though it takes me 3 times as long to fill one order to do that, that's the most time consuming part of it. I want, people to know that we really do appreciate people taking a chance on a small brand, especially when the golf industry is filled with so many large companies that, you're just buying from wherever, so we wanted people to know that you're buying it from two guys who are really hoping to bring something new to the golf game.
Yeah, sure. I'm going to grab something real quick.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to hit on this too, because I saw in one of the Instagram videos, these are all hand stamped too.
Yes.
So your gloves are getting hand packaged, hand stamped. Yep. This is like, it's a true small business that is 100% worth your support. And we can't stress enough, like, how many golf gloves have you, even the golf gloves that we brought that were leather, just to show the difference. There's 3 different brands here. We've ripped through every single brand trying to find a glove.
I was gonna say there's not like one brand that makes a leather glove that's pretty good, a lot better. They're all kind of this. I don't know. They have differences, but they're all you know, as far as all the important aspects go, they're all the same. You know.
And we saw the companies. You know, even like I mean, I'm not gonna like name a bunch of brands, but a lot of companies are starting to come out with, oh, we have our new glove, and you know, come check us out. And it was just a leather glove with a print on it, or you know, like palm trees, or it had like the fingers were different colors, and you can get who I'm talking about when I talk about some of the gloves. But it was just it really wasn't addressing some of the things that there was just another leather glove in the marketplace with a print on it. Right. So we wanted to take a different point of view. And then I'm glad you brought up the packaging. Like, I was able to find a really great packaging company. All those are like 100% recyclable, biodegradable, the whole 9. And then I don't know if you noticed, like with our packaging, you know, we took the direction of like a pencil case when you might have been in school. So it's reclosable. It has holes if you do want to put your glove back in it, but you can use it as an organizational tool for all of your other stuff that you might have in your bag. It's just so loose and you can't ever find anything, whether it be ball marks or tees or whatever. And then so we wanted to do that, because when you would go, like you talked about buying one of those leather gloves, you go up to the counter, hey, can I get that glove? You take it out of its envelope.
Yeah.
And honestly, you take the glove and then you give this person back that, and they throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
And us being a direct to consumer DTC brand, you know, not being in a lot of shops so far, you know, we didn't have to conform to, it has to be upright, it has to be hanging, it has to have you know, rigidity so that it can stand and whatever. We'll address those at a later date if we start to really get out into some of the other into the retail locations. We'll address that at some point, but we really I didn't want everybody just buying something from us and throwing it in the trash immediately. And I'm not saying that was the driving force, sustainability was driving force, but it was just something we wanted to be mindful of as we were creating, number one, the product, not being leather. Having been in a lot of tanneries in my career overseas, you know, where they obviously turn the you know, the material into gloves, you know, or to shoes, is you know, it's just not a very pleasant thing. And we got away from that, and we got away from you know, just some waste when it came to the packaging. We really wanted to be at least mindful of that as we were going forward.
Right. For sure. And like you were saying too, like, since the glove doesn't crack and you don't have to worry about any of those traditional issues, when I get, like I said, this glove I threw right in my bag, because I'm a lazy MF. I will put it right in the bag, zip it up, ready to go. Especially if the round didn't go as planned, I'm not being extra careful about anything. But I'm going to be doubling down and putting all my loose tees in that bag, because then I won't be fumbling around for one. And the glove there isn't those traditional problems where I need to have it in the case and like close it up, make sure it's like perfectly folded and the fingers are straight. Like, it's awesome.
I was gonna say,
definitely run yours through a little wash there. It looks like it might need to.
Yeah, no, but they're getting good use.
They're getting good use. Yeah, 100%. But one thing I wanted to bring up too, like when you were just going, like when you're talking about going to those expos and stuff, it made me think like people just got to get this glove on their hand. You know what I mean? As soon as everything would, you know, if they don't get it from what we've been saying and everything, you just got to put it on your hand, because then you feel it immediately. You feel the immediate differences, how it almost grabs your hand as you put it on. It's very comfortable, super lightweight. And yeah, like you said, the guy didn't even know you had it on.
Yeah, I think if you're obviously, if you're listening to this, and I'll do one of those like things, like, you know, you can sign up for our subscribe, you get 10% off, or if you go on the website, you can do stock 2 as a code. You buy 2, you get them for $20 each as opposed to 25. So there's ways that we're like trying to help that barrier of somebody thinking this might be a little too expensive to try to get in, try it on. And I think if you do try it on and you love the feel, you know, I think we're just looking for people to be repeat customers. I think that's the thing. We've got people coming back, you know, because I see all the orders every day, purchased last August, are coming back, which is crazy, for their second glove, or you know, a lot of people are buying their, you know, second, their third glove, you know, already. So we're definitely seeing that, which is cool as we're approaching like our year anniversary in May. So you know, it's good to see people coming back. And I think once you do try it on, that was the big theme at the Portland Golf Show, was once you try it on, we think that you're gonna fall in love with it. So that's the hope.
100%.
definitely.
And the other thing too is like you guys obviously put a lot of time, a lot of thought, and a lot of engineering into giving the consumer the best golf glove, but you didn't sacrifice style or looks either. Like the glove looks clean, the black, the blue, the gray, all of them look fresh. So
Right.
very cool.
Yeah, and like you're saying, you're working on more modern designs. This is like you were saying, it's very fresh, very clean. Like we don't see too much like this. It's awesome. It's really cool to see. Yeah, exactly.
Appreciate that, guys. Yeah, we get a lot of people asking for like white, and it's like we sampled the white, and you know, it was just one of those things where the material in white gets dirty very quickly. And although you can, you know, we wanted to have a different point of view. If you're seeing our glove in the marketplace, if you're seeing it on the course, if you're seeing it in its packaging or whatever, we felt like the gray was a fresh take. It differentiated us in the marketplace.
Yeah.
And it shows people that it is not the same. If we did it all white one, people might think it is leather, and we want people to know this is a different product. And we hope people try it for that reason.
Yeah,
100%. And so a little bit off topic, but just getting a little bit more into you as a golfer. What colorway are you rocking? Where do you pair your glove with club wise? What's the bag looking like?
Oh, well, I with the two littles have not updated my bag as much as I probably should have over the last several years. But working at Nike, a friend of mine was in the hard goods area. He was a ball engineer. So we got a lot of really good deals when we were working there. So I still do. I finally figured out how to hit one of those Nike drivers. And I still rock that. I have some really great some Callaway wedges that he helped hook me up with. And
Nice.
yeah, it's a very Nike bag, unfortunately still.
You're talking to
Mr. Nike. I
I was gonna
rock the
say,
Nike CCI forged irons. I have the Nike Vapor Pro driver, like the one Rory used with the neon green on the back.
Yep.
Okay, is it the black with the green one?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's the one I use. I do
No
have
way.
the red
Come on.
one. I do have the blue one, and I have the all black combo.
The red one's a paperweight on my desk right now
Oh,
because
yeah.
I switched the shaft from that with the Vapor because I like the old shaft more.
Yeah.
I've really tried to stick with Nike and find the like used clubs on the market that are in good enough condition for me to play because I've always been a fan of them, and I was really disappointed when TaylorMade kind of took over for them.
Yeah, I think I'll probably try out a new driver here and there, and I've heard that I'll get some obviously some additional distance if I switch out my irons and go with something a little bit different, and maybe I will. I have a friend who was over PXG Golf for a little while, and he was offering some stuff, and I'm sure they've got some great product. It's just one of those things where the disposable income has not gone yet. And I'm trying to get my little dude into golf. We go hit balls at the range. And
awesome. That's
I think
amazing.
once the weather shifts, I think I might go get fitted for something and treat myself. But yeah, it's been method putter, L. So it's very very traditional bag. But when
Hey,
it
you ever
comes to-
get rid of that putter, you know who you can sell it to.
yeah, well, I have the Rory one too, the black with the royal cover, that putter as well that I got at one of the last sales before they got rid of everything. But yeah, it's very 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 uninteresting bag.
I love it. I was gonna say,
Definitely love it.
no reason to justify the Nikes over here because we're Nike guys for sure. Yeah,
100%.
exactly.
Clip gear, push cart. I do that. I do walk everywhere. I don't like to ride carts unless we have to. So I do that. And then yeah, when it comes to the gloves, obviously I try to use them all. I try to use as many as we can just so I make sure that I'm understanding what's going on. We have new ones that we've tried out. The new designs, the new cuts. So making sure that the stitching isn't falling on the wrong part of the finger, or that everything's in the right place, that's feeling good. So we're doing a lot of wear testing on new gloves, and try to do that as much as possible. But yeah, we got a new color, which will be very springtime, a very let's just say that if it came out around the first week of April, it would make sense. So
Okay, I see what you're alluding to here, and that's
yeah,
also
Very cool.
tied to that as well at all, but it'll make sense when it comes out, and we'll have a little pack of product that'll come out and hopefully refresh people's point of view on the product, and yeah, we're looking forward to that. So we didn't even think we'd make it this far.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think you guys are only going to go further as well because just every aspect of the company is awesome. And even down to we talked a little bit about the ball markers, the Mirtomo. You guys have dope apparel too, like the logo tee. You have the Mad Logos hoodie with all the logos running down the sleeve.
Love
That's
that
a real
one, yeah.
fresh look. Definitely can tell that you were around like Nike and all those different brands because
Right.
they're fresh as fuck and that's fresh as fuck. So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And
Appreciate
hearing
that.
that you worked for Nike and Burton and things like that, it just connects a lot of dots.
Connects
in my
all
head
the
a lot.
dots,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been lucky in my career for sure, but working hard was part of all that, getting to those places, and that's what this is about. I mean, trying to build something from scratch.
Yeah.
It takes some creativity, it takes some long hours after the kids go down, putting orders out, making sure
Yeah.
that trying to think about what posts we might do the following day to try to get people engaged with the brand. And I built my first. We have a TikTok page in case you're wondering.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. No, it's such a good marketing tool, especially for like smaller businesses that are like looking to push it out there. It's just free marketing. And then
Right.
when one of those videos hits the algorithm, right, it's like, oh, I just got on 15,000 phones. Like,
Yeah.
that's perfect.
And that's where everybody's, watching their content, consuming content, is that short form TikTok, Instagram Reels, just swiping and swiping. So yeah, that's definitely important.
It's definitely not, I'm a little older than your average TikTok user and generator, but I think it's a good place. It allows us to tell fun stories, and so we're looking at trying to be out there as much as we can, and we'll continue to do that, as embarrassing as it is to be on camera.
No, I definitely feel that. But
Yeah.
no, it's it sounds like a lot of cool stuff coming in 2023. And I
Yeah.
mean, one other thing too, if you could pick a pro to rep Clinch out of any golf league, not specifying PGA Tour or Live, not sure which one you're a fan of more, but what golfer do you think aligns with Clinch in a sense of like, you feel like, man, I just love to hook that dude up, get around him with him, catch a beer maybe or something like that?
Oh man, it's so I'll be as controversial as the next person. I am not a fan of Live. I was up for maybe making some changes to the PGA Tour and maybe improving a couple things. I'm not down with the ball rollback.
Yeah.
But I also don't. I saw somebody, Fred Couples was going off, I think today or yesterday in an interview, and he was like, "So you're going to pay Phil $200 million to go shoot 74s and 75s? Like, good, good for you if that's what you really want. If that's what the consumer really wants." But I think being at a company like Nike, always looking at being aspirational, when you're talking about athletes, like it's not really aspirational. I was bummed for some of the golfers after watching the full swing on some of the guys that did make the switch, and I think I'm sure are probably not very happy with it and are bummed. I mean, not talking about DJ. I'm sure he's just oblivious and wants to get that money.
Yeah, he's just a check.
Right.
Yeah, but when you talk about some of the other guys that are probably like, oh man, like should I? Like maybe Brooks being one of those. Like, but I think I don't know. I have to say, like, you look at guys like Colin, you look at guys, who are young and who are okay with embracing like new innovation and stuff like that. I think that's where we want to be. We want to align with somebody like that who just want to take a chance on something new, as opposed to just whatever the status quo is.
Yeah.
And I think that's always going to be tough for us because number one, like if they're a guy like him, like he's head to toe, and that company that sponsors him has that product, and I think it's going to take just somebody to again get it on their hand, maybe play a couple of rounds, and I think at that point maybe we'd have somebody. We sponsor a small time caddy. His name is Laddie the caddy. He's on
Seen him on the Insta.
Yeah. So they were going to be at the Waste Management. His golf for Cal Stanley was an alternate, and they didn't get in, and then they ended up playing at the Puerto Rico Open. They did pretty well there. So we're going to continue to work with him and try to get the name out there slowly but surely. And maybe down the road we'll get the benefit of maybe somebody trying it on and giving us a shot.
It's just a matter of getting it on that hand, and I'm sure it's not going to come off. So.
I was going to say, like you just said it, but yeah, getting it on those guys' hand. Yeah. It's going to solve 3 different problems they didn't know they were having, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Knock on wood for sure.
So one other question for you is like being like such a pioneer in this industry and in the space of golf gloves, like what's one major obstacle maybe that we didn't cover that like you had to overcome, whether it was an obstacle or adversity? What would that be?
I think the one that I touched on a little bit in the beginning is that you do have people who say that they're golf purists. And it's leather or nothing, or it's tucked in t-shirts, and it's no hoodies, and it's it's leather shoes, and it's that kind of mentality where things are a little stuck in the past. And I think that honestly, at that Portland show, being in front of people that I don't, because obviously being a direct to consumer business, you're not engaging with the consumer as often as maybe some other companies might. And to hear people who were like, they just walked over because it was something new at the show, and we were like a new shiny thing, and they're like, what is this? To have them come over and just be like very dismissive, and I have a couple of people go, hey, I was like, listen, I'm not going to give you the hard sell. I just like, just try it on, and let me tell you, 2 minutes, you're here at the show, might as well listen. And it was those people who were like, man, I never would have thought to put on this glove. I never would have thought, because it's not what a normal golf glove looks like. And I never would have thought to try it out, because that's just not like the way I think about golf and golf equipment. I think if we can get some people to change their mind, to really just at least test it out, to try it out, to give us that shot, I think that's the one thing that will, I think that's the biggest obstacle, especially when you're talking about maybe some of the big chain, retailers, or some of those consumers that might just be a little bit more closed-minded to not give us a shot. You give us a shot. That's the biggest. I think that's the biggest obstacle that we're going to look to try to overcome this year, which is just trying to get out there, get on hands, and change minds. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sure that you guys are obviously going to do that, in the sense of like, I can't stress enough. I feel like a broken record almost, but it's like, get this glove on your hand. It's going to change how you play. And it's like,
Literally.
it's so tried and true for us, because especially like one other thing that I don't think we hit on is like, since we are in Buffalo, we recently went back to Maryland and went and played some golf. And it was our first rounds of golf in 3.5, 4 months.
Yeah.
And being able to go out, and you usually have like all those thoughts in the back of your head, like, oh man, I'm just going to skull it, I'm going to top it, I'm going to slice one, or any of those things. Just having the security of knowing at least that the glove and the grip was going to be good every single time was 10 out of 10, and really made a difference.
I was going to say, because like that's the worst feeling in the world, when you're in the middle of your swing, whatever part of your swing it is, and you can feel your hand moving in the glove, or you feel the, like when you grip the club, there's maybe a fold in your grip or something, and it's just never, I don't know. Like I said, it eliminates problems that people might not even know they have. Yeah, exactly.
I think the one thing we talked about, and that's such great feedback, and it's such great commentary. It really makes me feel good that like people actually do enjoy the product. I think the one thing is that the biggest compliment we'll ever get is that, like, I forgot that it was there, number one. Because if you forgot that a glove was there and you're still gripping the club,
that's comfortable.
That's comfortable, and it's also something that's no distractions, zero distractions. I think people use that a lot, but if you don't have to worry about something, it's one less thing in a swing thought pattern that has 80 different things you're thinking about, like you talked about. Keep my head down, left arm, this, that, blah, blah, blah. Not having to think about one extra thing in your golf game, we feel like is invaluable. And I think that was where, if we could do that, we would at least be able to bring something new to your game. So
100%. And that's exactly what you guys are doing. But,
exactly. Yeah.
So one last thing before we close out here and take up any more of your time is, do you have any events planned for 2023? Is there any other shows do you plan on going to, places people could find you, or maybe check out the glove other than on the website?
No, currently we do not. We are gonna try to see where the year brings us. I think now that we did have a pretty good response in person at the show in Portland, I think we're gonna try to get to a couple more of those. But right now, as we're getting ready for the season to really start to open up again, we're just looking forward to that, launching the new product, and then we're gonna see hopefully if we can get out there and then really try to get into more retail in the Pacific Northwest. I think that'll be, because it's just the two of us, we want to make sure that we are able to service, give, replenish when needed. And we've worked on some merchandisers that you can see if you look at the picture that I posted at the show on Instagram, you'll see on the table there's these merchandisers we worked on. So if we do want to get into retail, we could prepackage those, send them out, and then keep a shop up to date. And we're working through that. couple of shops out at the coast, because obviously the weather is always a little bit more wet out that way, and then really trying to get into some courses in Portland, and then we'll kind of go from there. And then we got a couple other podcasts scheduled, and then a friend of a friend, his name is John McGinnis, and they have a Sirius XM show called Craytech and McGinnis. We were on their show last year once on their Tech Tuesday when we first launched, and we're going to do that again before the launch of the new product and get on there and
Nice.
and try to get out and do a couple things like that, and maybe we'll find some good partners this year to work, to push the product like you guys, and to see, Driving Range Heroes was another company we've been working with a little bit. They're
Cool dudes.
yeah, great guys, and again, we're trying to get out there with like-minded people and see if the product resonates, and that's what we're going to try to do this year, but nothing specific when it comes to events, unfortunately.
Hey, no worries there. I mean, stuff will always arise and always pop up, and you'll be able to bounce on it. And I mean, we're obviously planning on taking a trip out west this year and hopefully getting some rounds in. And if we do so, we'll obviously be giving you a call and trying to meet up and swing the sticks. So
For sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
I'll have to check out those Nike clubs you got in the
Please.
bag. We'll have to do some comparison.
There you go.
Please do. I have two full sets. So when my father-in-law comes to visit from the Midwest, he has a set here. So it's 2 full sets of Nike clubs you can check out when you're here.
Perfect.
Nice.
Sounds like a plan.
For sure.
But all right, Jason, thank you for taking the time for shedding some light on Clinch with the viewers and helping break down the glove for us. So really appreciate that. And we look forward to hopefully reconvening and probably having you back on in the near future to talk about some of the new releases coming out in early April, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
Really appreciate you guys having Clinch Golf on, and it's great to get to know you guys a little bit better as well. And we would love to come back on. Maybe Matt can join me next time. So
100%. That'd be awesome.
Definitely. Yeah. Can't thank you enough for your time. Really appreciate it. And thought it went really well. So yeah.
100%.
Cool.
Thank you guys.